Hello, welcome to Hard Refresh, the official podcast from State of Social 2025. What are we doing here, you might ask? Well, we're polishing off our standard issue State of Social crystal ball and looking into the future to discover what's in store for the next 25 years of digital marketing. We're going to take a look at what trends, what technologies, what cultural shifts, and maybe even controversies will shape this industry and in turn society at large. My name is Andrés López-Varela. Please call me ALV, all my friends do. And today we're recording on the traditional lands of the Whadjuk Noongar people live at State of Social 2025. Coming up in this episode, we do a hard refresh on automation. Automation has really stopped being a feature and it's become the operating system for marketing. In the next 25 years, ad platforms will push objective level end-to-end automation, while customer engagement and content operations lean on AI to scale faster than we humans can even brief. The focus of strategy will shift to orchestration, but that creates a control versus performance question. Results, of course, yes, might improve, but control levers and transparency might vanish. So we're going to do our best to draw a hard line between what to automate, what never to automate, and how to prove value when dashboards disappear. Joining me to peer into the future of automation is Kirsty O'Connell, a Senior Account Director and experienced digital strategist at digital agency EQ. Kirsty, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Thanks for being here.
Very happy to be here.
Thank you. And Sophie Winter, the National Manager of Content and Communities at Australian Wildlife Conservancy. Welcome, Sophie. Excited for this?
Yeah, I can't wait.
Excellent. Everyone enjoying the State of Social so far as well?
Loving it.
Very much so.
First timers?
Yes.
Yes, great, good. Well, the more we indoctrinate, the better, I say. Hopefully you enjoy the rest of your time here as well. And this is a fun chat. Everyone ready?
Let's do it.
Ready.
Let's do a hard refresh. All right, I'm going to ask us to draw some lines in the sand to start with, to see where we all stand, right? Automation, as we know, promises like great results, but it takes over the controls. We sort of we're sitting in the front seat and we're sort of like slightly blindfolded and our hands are off the wheel. Right now, where do you think that we should refuse to automate? And Kirsty, I want to start with you. Like, is it the development of creative concepts? Is it like the delivery of ads, the measurement and optimization of ads? Is it customer communications? Give me a sense of where you think we should be drawing a line on this, process and culture of automation.
Yeah. I think it sits across all those things, which probably isn't a simple answer.
Yeah.
But I think there's a really clear role for automation right now, and I don't think that's going to change too much in the future. I think the role of automation is to, create efficiency.
Yep.
But I think the role that needs to be human and needs to remain human is how you then bring in that experience as part of that efficiency. Because we can scale, but if we scale and we're not thinking about that experience, you're creating something that doesn't feel human, that doesn't feel personal, and you're losing that authenticity that can only really come from, I think, a human input and the emotional input that machines, I don't think, can achieve.
It's fair enough. And do you think that emotion and that sense of connection to the work is something that future generations of marketers will have to be, taught? Will that be a learned skill because of the environment they're walking into?
Yeah. Well, I think it's a really exciting time to be new to the industry. I think if you're thinking about your role as a future leader right now, your role is going to be super exciting because you are so easily going to be pulled out of the weeds, pulled out of delivery, pulled out of figuring out all of the technical nuances of the micro level. And your role will become much more about strategy, much more about the reason we all do this job and the reason why we're all thinking about these things and the reason why we get up in the morning and care about the work we do. Your role is to really think about where we take it, what that looks like, how it evolves, and how you do the best thing for your customer and how you give them the best experience. So I think we all try to do that now, but we're spinning so many plates. I think it's so easy for us to fall back into the weeds and fall back into delivery.
Yeah.
So super exciting time. And I think, yes, needs to be taught, but in no different way to the way we need to be taught about our jobs now. I think it's just looking at it from a different lens.
Yeah, fair enough. Sophie, what about you?
100% agree. Yeah. I think there's so many things that we can streamline using automation and using AI. So scheduling, optimizing, even curating certain messages. But where we don't want to lose out is that human voice and that authenticity that comes from having somebody that knows the subject and is a subject expert, having them edit and refine and create most of the copy surrounding the content that we're putting out on our channels. And I also think that humans should be still involved in the moderation process, particularly on social media, where there's audience skepticism, there is an overwhelming amount of bot talk, as people say. That human approach is still very much needed.
So you'd draw a line, or you'd ring fence the development of creative and content and community management. The other areas you think that it's okay maybe to lean into automation more than those. Is that fair to say?
Definitely, yeah. Creating content and curating the community should be still human. Everything else can be automated.
Yeah, cool. What do you think?
I think that's really important.
Yeah.
So I've actually been in this position where I've tried to lean into automation,
Yes.
especially in social media, and it's been really difficult to let go. And it's not made easy for us by the platforms.
No. They don't want automation either, really.
Yeah, to an extent, exactly. So I think they want you to lean into the capability, but the way they're exploring it at the moment and the way they're bringing us into that kind of world is a test and learn approach for them as well as us. Yeah. So when we're thinking about how we let go of the reins, so automation can do the work and we can get ourselves out of the weeds, as we say, we're losing some of that. We're losing some of the knowledge that what we're putting in front of our customers is the quality of the brand and reflects our brand values and ethos and how we want to be presented to our customers. A really good example of this is when we were looking at how we use Meta to automate a lot of our activity in the performance marketing space. And what we found was we were throwing in the creative and we were letting it do its work, and we were finding that the creative wasn't appearing in the way that we expected it to in all environments. And that's fine because that's some of the control you lose in the world we're in with automation.
It's part of the trade, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, but then we were getting questions about why that was happening.
Yeah.
And it's very difficult to have those guardrails in place in that environment, but also let the reins go and let the AI do the work.
Yeah.
Controversial opinion, but I hate the Meta AI tool for performance marketing.
Really?
I think the creative is awful. It spits out these customized versions of what you've put in. The audience targeting is also very hit and miss. So, for example, we ran a feral cat campaign that was meant to be targeted at an audience of conservationists and people who were advocating for native wildlife. But because we used cats in the imagery of this ad creative, it sent it, like we used the broad targeting as a test with the Meta's AI, and it sent it straight into the feeds of cat lovers. So we just received all of this hate from people who were saying, how are you killing feral cats? What's the difference between domestic and feral? And it just created this warfare.
Wow.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was about 6 months ago. Haven't tried it again.
Very you were pretty badly burned.
I was badly burned off this one case.
Yeah.
But it is advancing, and I think it'll get to a point where it is a lot better.
That's
but
it. Yeah, the platforms
for
are
now,
learning as we're learning.
Exactly.
And I think that does serve a purpose for thinking about the level of control that we give at this stage. I think in the future, to your point, that will change considerably as we all figure out how this should look and how that will evolve. For now, I think there's definitely some caution to be put in place.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to get nerdy on a little bit of that now with you, like particularly on ad tech, right? So as ad buyers and creatives, as we have just talked about, are getting stitched together by machines and models and AI. This is a great example that you gave, Sophie. Brand safety. It doesn't just mean like lists of URLs anymore.
Yeah.
This is a great example. The feral cat with the cat. I mean, I'm a cat owner. If I'd seen that, I mean, I think hopefully I would understand, but maybe I'd have a visceral reaction to it.
Yes.
But tell me, Kirsty, what do you think suitability will look like in the next 5 years when those models are making the decision?
Yeah.
And your hands are off the wheel.
I think that will be the role of marketers. I think it will be so much more about how you create that authenticity and that trust with your customer. And to be able to do that, you need to be much closer to how that evolves and what that looks like when it lands into an ad space.
Yes.
So you're right, it will go way beyond lists of places we want to show up and places we don't want to show
topic
up.
areas and
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah. But I also think there's a ton of technology happening to help us to do that as well. And that's all in the automation side of things.
Yes,
You get some really incredible scenarios and work with some really interesting groups that look at how we can evolve in that space and how we can do it in a much easier way and how we can have that control. So yes, I do think there'll be an even more important role to play, but I do think there'll be help to be able to facilitate doing that.
Yeah, it's kind of hard for me to visualize in 5 years' time if our hands will totally be off the wheel, because right now, as we've spoken about, the AI is not quite at a level. I think there was a lot of hype around it, and now we're kind of plateauing and seeing the real impact that human marketers still need to have on the AI content and moderation and advertising streamlining that's happening. So to try and visualize a completely hands-off approach from humans is quite tricky right now. But I know we need to, because it's probably coming.
Yes, and certainly I think obviously like it's true that a lot of the financial pressures in marketing are the answer to a lot of the questions is automation. You know, like how do we do more with less? The answer is automation. And AI is, you know, I guess part of automation, but automation is something which, you know, without AI could still really affect that, right? So, and you know, automation can really help us, as we said, and as you both have mentioned, scale creative variants, scale the new content we're producing. But I think, as you both said, audiences will still be like listening out for the brand, right? Like that's still really key. So, Sophie, maybe tell us what you think is the sort of, I want to call it the MVP of creativity that we should be teaching these tools to maintain as like the minimum viable product, so we can still obviously use them and move at speed and get the advantages of them, particularly, you know, in the future, but without losing the stuff which makes the brand sing. What do you think is sort of that MVP?
Yeah, well, I guess the foundations of good marketing is having a really strong brand USP and brand voice and key messages. So feeding those into the automation processes and the AI that we're using in our workflows is so important, so they learn those humanistic kind of principles of our work.
Do you think that can be taught to the machines?
Yeah, well, I guess tone of voice.
You took the question right away.
It's a great question. Yeah, I guess it's the trial and error, really.
Yes, and essentially these tools get better as we teach them those things, but then we also take our hands further off the wheel. And, you know, I think, you know, looking at the next 5, 10, 20 years, that will probably be the case, I think, you know.
I just don't know if it can. I don't know if I'm being very cynical.
That's okay. You can be cynical. It's a safe space to be cynical.
Okay, good. Yeah, because I feel like the creativity, I don't think it can come from a machine. I think the machine is doing the functional work and removing some of that, some of the actions required to get things off the ground and get them delivered and get the optimization working. And I think the machine learning, the value you get from that is the machine understanding where your audience is, what they look like. But the emotional side of it and the context, I think, is so important. And I think that has to come from a human.
And I think Sophie's nodding furiously.
I 100% agree. I don't think some of the big tech in Silicon Valley would agree, because they're saying that these robots are learning empathy and emotion, and they're going to be able to replicate what humans can give them. And, it's a wild concept to think about, but potentially in the future, that maybe
we have to get there.
That was fun and light and breezy, you know, not dark at all, that conversation. But I want to go a bit more dark now.
Okay.
I want to say, let's pretend it's like, say, the year 2035, okay? Media, creative, content agencies that don't have some kind of secret sauce or proprietary, you know, way of thinking or approaching marketing are pretty much dead, right? Automation has eaten all this low-hanging fruit. And brands only hire the thinkers who are there to come up with that orchestration strategy of like what happens in what order and what are the rules. And that's really the role for, you know, freelance consultant agencies. How's that hot take? Is that too harsh, Kirsty?
I think so. Yeah, I think so. I'm not just saying this because I work for an agency.
Well, of course.
I have worked brand side as well.
Yes,
and I think my view on this is that the roles will just shift.
Yeah.
So I think I said this earlier. We all want to be doing the stuff that is the bigger picture thinking. We want to do the strategic thinking, the stuff that's going to really shift the dial for our brand or our clients.
Yes.
That's what we all care about. And I hear time and time again the clients that we work with saying, we want more strategic thinking from you. But the challenge is they're also relying on us to deliver.
Yes.
So it's really challenging
there.
for an agency at the moment to balance both of those things and get them both right and get them in the right balance. And we are doing it. I think in time, when that's taken over by the machines, when it's taken over by automation, when we lose some of that necessity of what headcount we need on an agency team, we have so much more space to do that bigger picture thinking. Now, I think your brand team, their role is going to be so important in giving that direction. And they will have more space to think about where we want to go, what that should look like, what we know about our audience. And then the agency role is going to be really cool because they're going to have the opportunity to say, hey, did you know that in 5 years or so, we think we're going to be here? What are you doing to think about that? Let us help you.
Yeah.
And the conversation is going to be so much richer
Yes.
and so much more interesting. I'm not saying they're not interesting now, but I think those interesting conversations are what we all want now, but they are hard to get and we have to make very dedicated time to have those conversations.
Yeah. And it's true that is expensive, that time as well. Like as an agency, that time, those resources are generally more expensive. And so, scaling that is challenging.
But what will the role, just to ask you a question,
Yeah.
what will the role of the agency be then if you are using automation for your clients? Why would the clients come to you and not just automate themselves?
Yeah.
So that's going to be, like we're saying, we still need to be the orchestrators. So I guess the role of the agency will change as well.
Absolutely, yeah, it will definitely change. And I think, to answer your question, I think if I was still in my brand role, I would still have a lot of plates spinning. And for me, it feels like if I can remove some of those plates that feel a little bit more getting things done in the weeds, delivery, the busy work, then that gives me space to think about, my strategy, how I manage internal stakeholders, where I want to take the brand, how I evolve that, how I get more investment behind what I want to do, and how I bring my team up through that and start to empower them to think much bigger about where we can be and what ambitions we can have. I wouldn't have time to think about where the industry's going.
Yeah.
Some of the bigger digital considerations of what I need to be thinking about in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Some of these conversations, for example, even, I don't think I'd have the headspace still to think about what I need to be to be ahead of where I need to be ahead of my competition, and also where I need to be industry leading. I think I'd still very much rely on an agency to help me with that steer.
Yes, yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And maybe then also actually the automation is something that becomes, I guess more embraced in that sense. And then the career trajectory, particularly of like the baby marketers that are starting now, changes to be more about, okay, you don't need to worry about like optimizing ads, or you don't need to worry about like, development of different variations or whatever. Like actually, we want you to dedicate more of your time towards thinking about the larger
I think that would
things.
be music to their ears as well.
Yeah.
It would definitely be music to my ears 10 years ago.
100%. Oh gosh, tell me
Skipping
that.
straight to the strategy.
It'd be great.
Yeah. I mean, add a bit of life experience, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I want to go like right into the future now, putting on your like very futuristic glasses. If the machines are automating all the grunt work, as we've just said, which would be ideal, and whether it's creative development, content creation, media planning, buying, and it's doing all that like well, like we got it right, yay us, what roles are left in marketing then for humans that are not thinking roles? Is there any other path other than thinking?
Oof. Is there? I don't actually know. Analysing, streamlining, creating content, conversing with audiences. If all of those can be automated, then what is left besides the strategy and the thinking and the presenting and the pitching?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that make us a less essential function in business?
I mean, if all of that is automated, yes, I don't have trust that it will be, because I think we've seen this kind of massive rise with the internet, with social media platforms, and now we're seeing it with AI, generative AI. I think it will slow, and we won't be as impressed in the future as we are with it right now.
That's probably true.
But yeah, if that does happen, it's terrible, but I can't think of something that marketing, that role would be still critical.
Yeah. What do you think, Kirsty?
I think it's more essential.
Yeah,
I think our role will become more essential.
Yeah.
I think it's going to become more important than ever to be a skilled marketer in the industry, because you can't be lost in the doing, and you can't hide behind
that
the
busy
delivery.
work. Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
So I think, again, it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about it being a really exciting time to join the industry. I'm not trying to recruit, by the way, I promise. But
we
I
need
think,
you. Marketing needs you.
But I do, I think over the next 10 years or so, you'll see us having to really level up on what our role is. And I think that's really important and really exciting.
Well, let me ask you then, like, speaking about this topic then, and speaking about those junior baby marketers that are coming, into the industry now, perhaps, what are we teaching them to be ready for this kind of future? Are we teaching them data science? Are we teaching them ethics? Are we teaching them what you said, Sophie, like taste? Are we teaching them prompt engineering? Probably like a little bit of everything. But what would you say are kind of the top skills, now compared to like when you entered the industry? Sophie?
Yeah.
Oh, totally different. And you just saying prompt engineering has prompted me to think that is a core skill that people will still need to learn, that marketers will need to be good at in order to automate all of the rest of the busy work. So teaching them prompt engineering and also strategic thinking. I don't think marketers should move into data science. I see those as two distinct careers that should probably stay that way, but they will need to have some understanding and oversight of how data science works and how to analyse what the automations are providing them in order to feed into that strategy. So.
I completely agree. Yeah, I think measurement is so important.
Yes.
And validating everything, because what won't change is the customer experience. What won't change is they won't see that it's a machine versus someone manually placing that in a platform.
And they wouldn't care
getting it
either,
live.
really.
They wouldn't care. No. So the experience doesn't change. It just becomes an opportunity to be much more tailored and much more personalised. And we're moving in that direction anyway. So it's important for us to do that and embrace it. And if we can use automation to get there faster and be much more clever with our marketing, then it really gives us that opportunity to make sure that everything we're doing is working as it should be, is right for the customer, and we're getting that data and feedback as a constant to evolve our marketing activity.
It's definitely helping create smarter marketers. I'm seeing a lot more marketers who would have usually had the softer skills like content creation and copywriting, now looking at the data quite often that AI is giving them and using tools to their advantage. So it's definitely
holding us to account.
Yes.
It's great.
Yeah.
I kind of like it. I like the idea that maybe we could probably get more back to a more holistic view, and I sound like the oldest person in the room, but a more holistic view of marketing that's not just promotion, but that it's product development, it's pricing, it's placement, understanding your audience, because those are all functions of marketing
P's.
the all the P's, right? Like that's actually marketing. It's not just promotion, is just one aspect of marketing, and
Absolutely.
there's so much more that we can do to maybe turn around to the business and go, we've got the grunt work covered. Let's talk about what we know about our audience that can influence product development, for example. And it's really interesting, especially like in your work, Sophie, in not-for-profits and charity. Sometimes there's a big gulf between like what the audience likes and knows, like the response you get to the feral cat ad and actually the way that the organisation is structured to achieve its goals, I guess.
Yeah, definitely. And it will help in future with low resource industries like non-profits and small businesses, so they can automate so much and deliver more.
Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. All right, before we wrap it up, we have just enough time for the refresh round. These questions are more random, and you can be as hot as you want with these hot takes, no holds barred, okay? In 2050, will brands still exist, or will we have hit refresh on the whole idea?
Wow, that's a hell of a question.
Yeah.
I think brands will still exist. We'll still be selling products. We'll still be selling ideas and businesses. I think the idea of brands and brand marketing needs to still exist in the future.
Yes. Otherwise, we're all in a bit of trouble, aren't we? Yeah. What's one marketing buzzword, Kirsty, that you would refresh straight into the garbage?
Oh, okay. Scale.
Tell me why.
Not necessarily a buzzword, but
Yeah.
I think we use it in the wrong way.
Okay.
We just talk about automation to scale
Yes.
what we're doing rather than
To do
doing it with the
more.
right reason.
Yeah. That's good. That's
the right
good.
purpose.
Yeah. That's good. As opposed to doing just more for more's sake. Yeah. All right. If AI got a chance to refresh your job description, what would it throw out?
Yeah, I got a chance to refresh my job description. I mean, it would probably throw out all of it. Just having discussed what we
It would
just
reset,
discussed,
yeah.
it would reset the whole thing and be
It's
like, well,
we
you're
don't
done.
need you. Thanks so much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're now the strategic director, and I do everything else. So.
Maybe some great handover notes, and that's it.
Yeah,
I like that. I like
easy.
If you could refresh the internet for the better, which one channel or platform would you get rid of?
X,
You know what? That's coming up a lot. That's coming up a lot.
formerly known as Twitter.
Formerly known as Twitter. Still Twitter in their hearts. Yeah?
Yeah, it died when.
Yeah. We don't need to say. Yeah, we know. And when Gen Alpha refreshes marketing and looks back at us, what do you think is the one thing they'll roast us for the most?
Still being stuck in campaign delivery
Oh, yes. Yes.
and planning for campaigns rather than planning for customer needs.
Yes, I like that. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
I hope they roast us for that. We deserve to be roasted for that, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, I love this conversation. I had no idea where we're going to kind of head with this, but I'm really grateful for all the kind of honesty and clarity in that chat. I think we solved a lot of problems there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just automate everything.
Yeah.
Done.
Kirsty O'Connell, Sophie Winter, thank you so much for joining me on the podcast. And I hope you enjoy the rest of State of Social.
Thank you.
Thanks so much. It was
Thank
great
you.
to be on.
Thank you.
If you like this refreshing conversation, you're going to love the rest of Hard Refresh. Join me and the smart minds of the State of Social 2025 crew as we get into all the big topics so you know where we're headed for the next 25 years of digital marketing. The podcast is now live across all your favourite podcasty places, and make sure you do what your parents taught you. Sharing's caring. Tell a mate or two if you like what you hear, and give us a 5-star review, because I asked you to, but also because it helps other people discover the show. Hard Refresh is a co-production of State of Social and Original Audio. The show is produced by me, Andrés López-Varela, and Aaron Matthews from Original Audio. Big shout out to Cal McLean for production support and our executive producer, Meg Coffey. I'm ALV. Thanks for tuning in. Remember to tune in again next time when I'll hit refresh on something new all over again.